So this is how it begins. Not with a simple team meeting, not with a press release, but with absolute disbelief. The doors swing open, and there he is, Larry Bird, the hick from French Lick, a basketball god walking among mortals, standing in front of Caitlyn Clark and Sophie Cunningham with an announcement that sent shockwaves to the entire WNBA. Not a rumor, not a whisper, a declaration. Larry Bird, the most iconic figure in Indiana basketball history, is stepping back into the game, and not just anywhere. He's bringing his Hall of Fame mind to the Indiana Fever, a move so unexpected, so seismic, that it may have already rewritten the entire future of the WNBA. The timing couldn't be more dramatic. The Fever, rejuvenated by Caitlyn Clark's arrival, had become the centerpiece of WNBA viewership. But this is more than a talent spike. This is a nuclear detonation of basketball legacy. Larry Bird is synonymous with winning, fundamentals, grit, and Indiana pride. The idea that he would return, not to the Pacers, not to NBA front offices, but a coach in the WNBA, it's unprecedented. It's headline gold. And it sends a message to the entire basketball world. The WNBA is no longer an afterthought. It is the next frontier. And Bird's arrival signals it's time to take it deadly seriously. Bird's coaching resume alone would turn heads. Let's not forget, the man transitioned from player to coach with such ease as first 3 seasons of the Indiana Pacers resulted in playoff berths and a trip to the NBA Finals. He wasn't just good, he was transformative. His coaching philosophy? Ruthless fundamentals, relentless defense, and mental toughness. He didn't need to scream. He didn't have to showboat. He demanded excellence through strategy, execution, and unmatched basketball IQ. Players respected him not just because he had 3 MVPs, but because he had the mind of a champion. Now imagine that same mentality coaching a group of hungry, overlooked WNBA stars? That's not just a team, that's a revolution. And yet, people are asking, why now? Why here? Why the Fever? The answer might be simpler than we think. This isn't just about coaching. It's about legacy. It's about the love of Indiana basketball. Larry Bird has always stood for the idea that greatness doesn't come from flash. It comes from work, from grit, from understanding the game at its deepest levels. And maybe, just maybe, he saw something in Caitlyn Clark that reminded him of himself. A relentless competitor, a high IQ shot creator, a player who not only changes games, but rewrites the rules of engagement. Bird didn't walk through those doors on a whim. He saw a challenge, and he saw the potential to build something that could echo through history. Caitlyn Clark has already become a household name, but let's be clear, this isn't just about a rising star. This is about a movement. Her 2024 rookie season was more than impressive. It was transformative. 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, 5.7 rebound per game. She led the Fever to their first playoff appearance since 2016. But stats don't tell the whole story. Her arrival reignited Indiana's love for basketball. Arena attendance exploded. Television ratings shattered records. She turned the Fever from a struggling franchise into a phenomenon. And now, with Larry Bird by her side, we're talking about generational synergy. 2 basketball minds, one emerging, one legendary, colliding on the same mission, to win. What makes this so compelling is the symmetry between Bird and Clark. Both came from places where basketball was more than a game. It was a lifeblood. Both excelled through vision, toughness, and a refusal to quit. Clark is not your typical rookie. She is the face of the league's future. She doesn't shy away from pressure. She thrives in it. And Bird? He's the embodiment of clutch. Who better to mentor and mold the future of the league than a man who's already defined basketball excellence on every level? The question isn't whether they'll work together. The question is how fast they'll dominate. But Clark won't be the only star in this new Fever chapter. Enter Sophie Cunningham. Fierce, fearless, a competitor through and through. Cunningham has built a reputation for being one of the WNBA's most intense defenders and versatile playmakers. While she's currently with the Phoenix Mercury, the rumors are already swirling. Could Larry Bird's presence be enough to lure her to Indiana? Could the Fever orchestrate the kind of roster moves that would bring her blue-collar mentality and leadership into Clark's orbit? Because let's be real, this would be more than a strategic signing. It would be the beginning of a super team built around hard-nosed, fundamentally sound basketball. Cunningham is no stranger to being overlooked. But don't let her modest stats fool you. This is a player who's carved her spot in the league through grit, adaptability, and fire. She averaged 8.2 points, 2.8 rebounds, and shot nearly 37% from beyond the arc last season. But her real value? It's the things that don't show up on paper. Defensive pressure, leadership, emotional fire. She takes on the toughest assignments without blinking. And Bird? He'll love that. This is a player who fits his mold to AT. If Indiana can land her, we're looking at a defensive wall, an offensive engine built on trust, toughness, and basketball IQ. Of course, not everyone is ready to hand over the clipboard just yet. Christy Sides is still the official head coach of the Indiana Fever. She took over in 2024 and managed to steer the team to its first real success in nearly a decade. But let's not pretend this isn't complicated. If Bird is coming in, where does that leave Sides? The organization is at a crossroads. Do they ride the momentum she's built, or do they hand the keys to a legend and let him redefine the franchise? It's not just a coaching decision. It's a cultural one, a philosophical shift that could shape the Fever's identity for decades. Bird's influence in Indiana goes far beyond the court. He is Indiana basketball. From his humble beginnings in French Lick to his Hall of Fame career, he represents everything the state values: grit, loyalty, and work ethic. His return would do more than just impact game strategy. It would cement the Fever as Indiana's team. Suddenly, it's not just a Pacers state. It's a shared spotlight, one where women's basketball stands shoulder to shoulder with the men's game. And with Clark as a lightning rod for a new generation, Bird could become the bridge between past and future, between old school toughness and new school talent. The commercial side of this potential hire, off the charts. Bird's name alone will bring in sponsors who've never looked twice at the WNBA. Pair him with Clark, and you've got a marketing dream. Season ticket sales would explode. Merchandise revenue would skyrocket. National media would descend like vultures on every practice, every game, every press conference. This isn't just a coaching change. It's a brand makeover. It's a Fever stepping into the limelight and saying, we are the center of the WNBA universe now. And let's not overlook the ripple effect. Bird's arrival could ignite a chain reaction throughout the league. Other franchises may feel pressure to upgrade their coaching staffs, bring in experienced leadership, or take bigger swings in free agency. If Indiana becomes a destination for serious players wanting to win under a legend, the competitive balance of the entire league shifts. Suddenly, the WNBA isn't just about parity. It's about dynasties, about elite programs built around Hall of Fame minds and next-generation stars. Bird's reputation also opens doors in recruiting. Think about the top-tier players who might now consider Indiana a real destination. Veterans looking for a title, young stars eager to learn from a legend, free agents who want to be part of something historic. Bird changes the math. He doesn't just coach players. He attracts them, and if Clark is the bait, Bird is the hook that seals the deal. But this isn't just about winning now. It's about building something that lasts. Bird's coaching style is all about development. He teaches situational awareness, basketball IQ, and clutch decision-making. Imagine what that could do for young players still figuring out their game. Under Bird's system, the Fever don't just get better. They evolve. They mature. They become machines of discipline, execution, and confidence. That's how dynasties are born. Still, questions remain. Can Bird's style resonate with younger, more diverse generation of WNBA players? Will his traditional methods translate effectively in today's faster, more analytics-driven game? And most importantly, can he adapt? Because if he can, then there's no limit to what this Fever team can achieve. If he can connect, then Indiana becomes not just a contender, but the new gold standard of women's professional basketball. The cultural implications are massive. Larry Bird coaching in the WNBA sends a signal that this league is not just a sideshow, it's a proving ground for greatness. It shatters barriers. It invites legends into a space that deserves their attention. It tells girls everywhere that their game is just as worthy of Hall of Fame minds and media obsession. Bird's presence validates everything the WNBA has fought to become and accelerates what it's destined to be. So imagine the first practice. The gym is quiet, heavy with anticipation. Caitlyn Clark is locked in, ball in hand. Sophie Cunningham is stretching, eyeing every drill. And at the front of the room stands Larry Bird, arms crossed, eyes narrowed, analyzing everything like a chess grandmaster prepping for war. He's not here to make friends. He's not here to coddle egos. He's here to build a machine, a winning culture, a championship pedigree. One whistle blow and the tone is set. This is no longer a team hoping to win. This is a team expecting to win. And it starts today. The dynamic between Bird and Clark will be the most scrutinized relationship in basketball. On the surface, they couldn't be more different. He's stoic, old school methodical. She's electric, outspoken in the face of a new generation. But dig deeper, and you find a bond forged through basketball brilliance. Both have an uncanny ability to see the game 2 moves ahead. Both thrive in pressure cookers. Both know what it's like to carry an entire program on their shoulders. Bird won't treat Clark like a rookie. He'll treat her like a co-general. And in doing so, he'll unlock a level of leadership in her that no one saw coming. There will be growing pains. Of course, Bird is known for being brutally honest. He demands perfection. And Clark, for all her brilliance, is still learning the ropes of professional game. But that's where the fire starts. The push and pull between coach and star. The battles in practice. The clashes over play calls. All of it forging something stronger than just talent. It creates belief. It builds championship DNA. And as the season unfolds, fans won't just be watching basketball. They'll be witnessing the birth of something historic. And that's just on the court. Off the court, the Fever are about to become the most talked about franchise in women's sports. Late night segments, primetime interviews, TikTok trends. Every moment will be under the microscope. And with Bird's no-nonsense personality, you can expect fireworks. He's not going to play PR games. If he thinks the officiating is garbage, he'll say it. If a player isn't hustling, he'll call them out. That rawness, that authenticity, it's going to draw a massive audience. And maybe a little controversy too. The media narrative will explode. Is Bird too tough for today's WNBA? Can Clark and Cunningham coexist? Is the Fever dynasty already beginning? Debate shows will feast, podcasts will speculate, and every game will be an event. The ratings will speak for themselves. The Fever won't just be a team, they'll be the team. And the rest of the league will be forced to respond. More spending, bigger hires, riskier trades. Larry Bird won't just coach the Fever. He'll raise the standard for the entire league. Behind the scenes, the Fever front office will undergo a metamorphosis. Bird's arrival will demand structure, discipline, and strategic investment. Scouting will intensify. Analytics departments will expand. Facilities will upgrade. Every department, from nutrition to media relations, will be expected to operate at NBA caliber efficiency. Bird didn't come to babysit a rebuild. He came to architect a legacy. And that means the Fever as an organization must grow up and fast. Don't be surprised if the draft strategy changes, too. Bird isn't interested in flashy picks or potential field projects. He wants dogs, competitors, players who hate losing more than they love winning. Expect the Fever to start targeting players who fit Bird's mold. Tough defenders, high IQ playmakers, and unselfish grinders. In the next 2 years, this team could have a roster so finely tuned that it doesn't just compete. It suffocates opponents on both ends of the floor. And then there's the fan base. Indiana has always been a basketball state, but this is different. This is bigger. Suddenly, it's not just about catching a game on the weekend. It's about being part of history. Every home game will feel like a playoff atmosphere. The stands will be packed with generations of Hoosiers, some who grew up idolizing Bird, others who wear Clark jerseys to school. The Fever will become more than a franchise. They'll become Indiana's heart. Sponsors will flood in. Local businesses, national brands, legacy companies who want to attach their name to this cultural juggernaut. The Fever's value will skyrocket. And with that surge in capital will come new opportunities, youth programs, state-of-the-art training centers, media partnerships, even potential international tours. Bird's name will open doors that the WNBA has been knocking on for years. Now, finally, they swing wide open. And let's talk mentorship. Younger WNBA players, not just on the Fever, will start seeking Bird's guidance. His impact will reach far beyond Indiana. He'll become a lighthouse for aspiring athletes who want to learn how to win the right way. Clark, in turn, will become a mentor herself. Shaped by Bird's wisdom, her leadership will ripple throughout the league. The Fever won't just be producing great basketball. they'll be producing great leaders. The synergy between Bird, Clark, and Cunningham, should it materialize, is poetic. You have the legend, the prodigy, and the warrior. Each brings a different energy, a different edge, but the same hunger. Bird gives them structure. Clark gives them spark. Cunningham gives them steel. That's not just a big three. That's a blueprint. A franchise identity that echoes through locker rooms, broadcasts, and city streets. Other teams will scramble to respond. Rivalries will intensify. Games against the Liberty, Aces, and Sky will become must-watch TV. Players will circle Indiana on their calendar. Every team will want to be the one to break the Fever's aura. But here's the thing. When you build around toughness, intelligence, and grit, you don't just win games. You wear people down. By mid-season, opponents won't just be playing the Fever. They'll be surviving them. Even Bird's critics will be forced to admit this experiment might actually work. The old school meets new school dynamic that everyone feared would clash? It might be the secret sauce. Because Bird's wisdom doesn't stifle talent. It amplifies it. He doesn't slow the game down. He clarifies it. And in a league that's constantly evolving, having a mind like his at the helm could be the key to outpacing everyone else. The end game? Championships. Not one, multiple. Bird didn't come back to be competitive. He came back to dominate. And with Clark entering her prime, Cunningham in her stride, and the Fever's front office sharpening its claws, the window is wide open. The question is no longer if they can win it all. It's how soon. But beyond trophies and banners, the greatest legacy Bird could leave isn't in wins. It's in transformation. In showing the world that greatness knows no gender. That legends don't belong to one league. That the WNBA is not a detour or a footnote. It's a destination. And if Bird can prove that, he'll have changed the game forever. So buckle up, because this isn't a story. It's a saga. It's a collision of past, present, and future. And whether you're a die-hard Fever fan or a casual viewer who just tuned in, one thing's for certain. History is about to be made. Don't miss it. Hit that like button. Drop your thoughts in the comments. And subscribe for more breaking news as we follow what could be the most important coaching chapter in basketball history. The era of Larry Bird and Caitlyn Clark has begun, and it's going to be unforgettable. So here we are, a generational player in Caitlyn Clark, a blue-collar warrior in Sophie Cunningham, and potentially a coaching legend in Larry Bird. This isn't just a team anymore. It's a movement. It's history in the making. The Indiana Fever aren't just rebuilding. They're rebranding, reinventing, becoming something no one saw coming. And if this all comes together, if Bird really does take the helm, then what we're witnessing isn't just a sports story. It's a basketball revolution. Don't blink. Don't look away, because the game is changing. And Indiana is ready to lead the charge. Let us know in the comments. Do you believe Larry Bird is the missing piece? Is this the start of a new WNBA dynasty? And if so, how long before the rest of the league catches up? Hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell, because this is just the beginning of something legendary, and you won't want to miss what happens next.